Hey guys, on March 5th, Hycroft Mine dropped their 10K for the full year 2024 and Q4 2024 results. We have 48 pages here on the corporate presentation, 103 pages in the 10K, and I know not all of you guys are going to read all of that, even though you should. So in this video, I just want to spend a couple minutes with you going over what I drew out of these documents that is worth mentioning. And there are some very important things in both of these documents that you need to be aware of if you're invested in Hycroft or thinking about investing in Hycroft. Without any further ado, let's get right into the info. I cover the filings for Hycroft Mine on this channel because frankly, there's just a lot of misinformation out there. Some people that are overly pessimistic because they never understood the timeline of a junior mine and how long it takes to get a TRS done and get back into production. Other people maybe are too optimistic because they think mining is going to happen tomorrow or next week or next quarter. When we review the timeline of a typical junior mine, we look at a chart like this, and you can Google these, but they have a nice one in their slide deck. On the left-hand side, we have the share price going up and down. And on the x-axis at the bottom here, we have time. And you can see that initially, it's normal for companies to run up as people get excited about them. Think March 2022. And then as they go through all of the drilling and exploration and planning out the TRS, determining if the mine is economical or not, it is normal for the price to kind of slide down. And that's kind of where we're at right here, this triangle in the middle. If they're able to launch from that point into becoming a viable mine again, then the expectation is normally that the share price over time will go up as the mine begins generating revenue. But they got to get to the point of delivering the TRS and proving to investors that the mine is going to be economically viable. In that final phase comes things like financing the build out to get back up into mining operations. The construction, that takes time. And then getting into operations and continuing the growth and the development of the mine. You've all seen the slides with their measured and indicated gold and silver ounces and the inferred gold and silver as well. I'm not going to dwell on that. That is not really germane to today's discussion. The first thing that we need to talk about is what is their plans for 2025 and when do they plan to get back into production? You want that revenue coming in. One thing that I've been waiting for from Hycroft, and the date of delivery keeps getting pushed out, is this technical report with economics or the updated new TRS. The latest information we have from Hycroft, you can see at the end of the roadmap here, is that the new TRS will come out at the end of 2025. And I believe the 10K says the final quarter of 2025. So what else is on tap for 2025 while we're waiting for that TRS at the end of the year? They tell us in the 10K that subject to sufficient cash on hand, key 2025 plans include assessing the potential for high-grade underground mining, executing a follow-up exploration program to expand the high-grade silver mineralization, finalizing engineering and trade-off studies, and reviewing district exploration targets to unlock broader mineral resource potential. The company did have some promising results from their 2024 drill program. I've got a couple of them highlighted here from October 2024 and January 2025, what the company is calling high-grade silver dominant trends. And these, I think, would qualify as what we would identify as a high-grade drill result. And having said all of those things, now we've covered everything on page 3 of their corporate presentation, except the other thing we need to talk about. They have it listed as item number 4 in the key highlights that they want you to know about. The cash position of the company is only $50 million as of the end of December 2024. In the beginning of any 10Q or 10K, there is this very important section called risk factors. I always urge you guys to make sure you're reading these on any company that you're holding more than a few weeks. don't neglect reading the risk factors. And I get it. Some of these risk factors sound very scary, and I'm not covering them today to scare you. Remember, the company is disclosing this information to you, things you must know about, because they don't want to be sued. Now, if you don't read it, that's on you. If they disclose it, you can't go back and sue them later. One thing that they're telling us here that is new is a going concern warning. And you guys know me by now, if you've paid attention over the years. When I see a going concern warning in a 10Q or a 10K, that is definitely something that I always pay attention to. This is the company and the auditors telling you that this company might not have enough cash to survive 12 months. Towards the end of the corporate presentation, we have a recap of all of the 2025 deliverables, all the things that we just talked about. And again, I want to point out to you the item on the far right-hand side. This is the company letting you know this information. They need to continue to strengthen the balance sheet and reduce debt. And that is one of their corporate objectives for 2025. In that corporate slide deck, why do they make a point of calling that $50 million of cash remaining on the balance sheet out to you to make sure that you know about it? Because if we look at the cash used in operating activities for 2024, it was about $36 million. In 2023, about $41 million. As part of the debt covenants that the company is obligated to follow, they also have a requirement that they maintain always a minimum balance of cash of $15 million. And if you think about that $35 million or so spent on operating activities, plus the requirement to have $15 million in cash on the balance sheet at a minimum, now you're right smack up against that $50 million that they have left in cash on the balance sheet as of December 31st, 2024. Now, we just went through a lot of accounting stuff just to hammer home the point that those risks that the company is calling out to you at the beginning of the 10K, letting you know that they have some liquidity issues, a going concern warning, a need for cash in 2025. Those are very real risks. And I would say almost certainly the company is going to need to raise a fairly substantial amount of money in 2025. Now, what is substantial? I don't know. I'm not the CFO. Is it $10 million? Is it $20 million? Is it $50 million? I don't have the answer to that. I'm just pointing out the risk to you and why it exists, and that I expect something will be done about it. How to quantify that, I can't tell you for sure. While the risk of future dilution in 2025 might be a hiccup or a bump in the road for investors that are currently holding Hycroft stock, what you decide to do about that is your business. You guys make up your own minds. Just pointing out it exists and why, and I will hope that Hycroft gets that resolved for those of you that are in it for the long term, and that they get that TRS done at the end of 2025. And then we can learn about the timeline for construction and plans to get back into mining, which is probably going to be several more years. If you guys have questions or comments, let me know down below. I am Tony Denaro. Thank you for watching. I will see you on the next video.